Welcome exiles to Bait or No Bait, the game show where we give you the cold hard facts. We tell you whether or not a league starter is bait or whether it is not bait. It's a simple rule: bait builds will get you and your life going down south. We're talking prison time, we're talking wanted man, we're talking price on your head, they want you dead. Now, that's obviously something we don't want to happen to you, so this is where we come in to give you the truth, and that means you will know which builds to start and which builds not to start. Now let's get into it first with a cold hard killer, Tytykiller, fastest man on the planet. You know him as Speed, and he's league starting as faster than you. Now, this is the kind of guy that's going to steal your girl, and she's going to tell you about how he's fast at everything, faster at finishing than you. Everything he does is fast. Now, unfortunately for us, he's a menace to society, and he is the enemy. The only one who could save us possibly from this man and his speed at stealing our girls is none other than Ty, 23 himself. This is just a beck and call and a plea. Ty, please come back to the scene. You need to save us from Tytykiller, so don't trust his bait. Don't trust his builds. They're bait. Now, on a much lighter note, we have Empyrian, a man who was so distraught and destroyed by what they did to Loot last league. He said, I'm done. Goodbye, Path of Exile. Luckily, this story didn't have to end in sadness. He went to some therapy sessions with Chris Wilson himself, and he now has come back a man enjoying Ruthless, a mode designed to have even less loot. He is a changed man. Not bait, just a changed man, and we are going to support him in that. Now, back to real builds. We're talking about the best melee league starter of them all. We're talking about Bone Zone. And none other than Woolie Mammoth himself. He's got some cool videos. Normally he doesn't, make content on Path of Exile, but he's dipping his toe in the sphere, and they're pretty entertaining, not gonna lie. Unfortunately, he didn't go to the expert himself, Karn. His Bone Zone character is a juggernaut, not a slayer, already a red flag there. And on top of that, if you don't ask yourself, hey Karn, is Bone Zone a good idea? Well, Karn would tell you, minus 30% range, the build is dead. How could you not be informed on these cold hard facts? Obviously, this is going to have to go in the bait category. You don't ask the experts, you don't get their advice, and then you release a build league starter for a dead build. For shame. For shame, Woolie. It's okay. You can do better. You can redeem yourself next time. Now, up next, we have TripolarBear, a tried and true specialist at bringing you the best of Ruetoo's builds. And I have to say, Ruetoo doesn't disappoint. His builds are good. They're excellent. But there's something I have to be honest about. We did some research in the field, and Ruetoo, he's got some medical conditions. Mostly, he's going insane. Let me play you a clip.
What? That's not real. That is not real. That's... No!
Yeah, as an E-friendly show, we can't highlight all the cuss words going on there, but point is, clearly, Ruetoo the Catman is going insane, and that means most likely his builds are probably not going to have quite the punch, quite the glory they used to have. So I just say, steer clear of this. This is obviously going in the bait category, folks. Ruetoo has been losing it lately, going more insane as a cat day by day. Now, up next, Palsteron. He tells me, he messages me, he says, I am converted. I am not going to league start totems, I promise you. Yet all I see in his video feed is none other than Ballista. He is a known totem lover, the criminal offense of the highest order. And all I have to say to protect you kind folks out there is that this is obviously bait, people. Do not fall for the enticing POB DPS numbers, because you will end up finding yourself desolate, broken inside, playing the least fun build possible. And better would be something like Ventrua, a man committed to one thing. Now, if you look in the title here, he has written out Seismic Bible. Of course, this man is on a mission. We asked him, and he said, here, I am preaching the word of the Seismic Bible to convert people away from playing Seismic. We said, are you playing Seismic? He said, no, of course not. I'm here to make them repent. He is none other than a saint out there rescuing people from playing Seismic. We have to applaud him for his work in the field, truly going where no man has gone before to try to rescue another soul from playing Seismic. A moment of silence for a man of honor like that. Moment of silence over. We're looking at dslily. Now, dslily has once again revealed to us a Blade Blast build. And I have to say, yeah, maybe it looks a little enticing to you. Maybe it looks interesting. Unfortunately for dslily, even though she might want you to think Blade Blast, this is the play, this is the build, we had a reporter in the field of, hey, what build you gonna start? And dslily says,
I don't know, Bone Zone Jug, probably.
Bone Zone Jug. She's not even league starting the content build she's recommending to people. Clearly, this is some sort of Jungroan snitch bait opportunity move where she tries to trick other players to playing a worse build so that way she can beat them in a competitive hardcore race setting. And this is indeed bait. Once again, the Bait or No Bait team does its research thoroughly, and we were not going to let this slide. Talking about not letting builds slide, Grimro, my man. Anyone else notice he is not starting Corrupting Fever? This is the kind of change we like to see. A man who is so addicted to Corrupting Fever, so set in his ways, and I have to say, just out of sheer respect for a man who's beaten an addiction to Corrupting Fever, glad, we have to label this as not bait. Because we're just proud of you, Grimro. Even if this build might be a little bit bait, we're going to give you not bait just out of respect for what you went through. Wait, hold on. What's that? Another reporter in the field is giving me some information, and they say Firegrass might be related to this incident. Okay, let's go and analyze some more. Okay, Grimro's doing a Raider Lightning Arrow Artillery Ballista, and what is Grim... Oh no. Oh no. Firegrass is also doing an Artillery Ballista Raider build. This seems eerily similar, and I have to say, folks, if you do, you know, some history, if you went to history class, you would know about the toxic occultist tornado shot poison disaster of a few leagues ago, released by none other than Firegrass himself. And to be honest, we never got to thoroughly review the build ourselves for Bait or No Bait, but there has been so much toxic aroma around it that, frankly, we cannot recommend any builds related to Firegrass out of sheer risk to the Bait or No Bait brand. We do not want to be labeled a fake news show, and for that reason, we do have to end up labeling both Grimro and Firegrass as bait. Unfortunately, Grimro, we appreciated your change of heart, but you can't be that close to a Firegrass build and scave by without a bait tag. I'm sorry to do it to you, but that's okay. We put that behind us to go to a man himself, GhazzyTV, coming at us strong with some Necromancer builds. He's got some gold thumbnails. He's got some purple thumbnails. It looks cool. It looks enticing. Not gonna lie, Bait or No Bait team was sold right on the thumbnails, but we don't just do, you know, subliminal, shallow research. We dig deeper. We go back in time. And back in time, the Ghazzy of the past would have told us Necromancer is trash. Necromancer is not the play. The new meta ascendancy is actually ascendant. Clearly has been an abduction for Ghazzy. He's not been seen by his friends or family in recent time. They're worried sick about him. There's something fishy going on, and we have to label this build as bait. Up next, we have none other than Quinn69, the God Gamer. And on stream today, he was deciding and creating the most powerful builds possible for Forbidden Sanctum. You gotta ask yourselves, okay, this man doesn't disappoint. He brings home the bacon. Clearly, he knows what he's doing. But we went into the field with some reporters to ask some of Quinn69 viewers a few questions about the builds he's making. Clearly, you can see by the photos, they're not impressed. They don't think he really is creating the new meta. And unfortunately, because even if his fans aren't excited about the builds he's making, we have to label them as bait, people. If you can't get your own base to believe in you, are you really making the best builds in the game? Hopefully, our next contestant, Arrow, wouldn't do us so dirty. Now, Arrow has a Hydrosphere Occultist, and quite frankly, our team was so impressed with the thumbnail. It's so clean, so elegant, looks nice. We decided right out the gate, this is a no-bait scenario. This is a no-bait scenario. It seems original. It seems good. Now, that is what we would say if we didn't do our jobs correctly, because this right here is untested, unverifiable, and clearly bait, people. Okay? You think we would give that a no-bait category? Are you kidding me? No one's ever played Hydrosphere in their lives as the main skill. There is no way on earth that's actually a viable league starter. Truthfully, we would not mislead you down that road. We're here for quality service, people. And by quality service, we do the most in-depth research. And I'm talking, we go thumbnail analytics deep. To the untrained eye, this looks like Velyna here is playing some pretty spicy builds, you know, throwing his shield at maximum velocities, freezing bosses, Ice Trap Sabo, SST Raider. What could go wrong? Well, I'll tell you what could go wrong. Look a little deeper. Look into her eyes. The thumbnail makes it clear. She is dead on the inside. She might be trying to tell us subliminally, hey, do not play this build. Look how sad I am. We picked up on that. We were able to locate this misleading information that these builds are in fact bait and they will leave you sad and broken. And we don't want that for you. As the Bait or No Bait team likes to look out for the public. And mentioning people that look out for the public, CrouchingTuna. My God, a man of the people. We were so happy to find out you escaped Palsteron's basement after he kidnapped you. Truly, welcome back to the scene. Now he's bringing us a BV poison build. Poison got buffed. BV's a fun skill. Fantastic. We are so excited to award you the not bait category. Is what we would say if we didn't do more research. CrouchingTuna, a man of the people, now just joining the desolate, degenerate masses of top 10 X amount of best league starter videos where they just copy and paste a bunch of builds they've never played and say, yeah, this is probably good. We're gonna have to host a funeral for another fallen hero because this is bait. CrouchingTuna is no longer the hero we can look up to. Captain Lance, he's no hero. He is certainly a man that makes poor decisions. Over and over and over again. How could this man possibly imagine being able to take care of these children and also play PoE at the same time? It's very clear PoE is a game that demands 24-hour surveillance. So if he has these distractions of children in the background saying, hey, Dad, hold me, he's not going to really be able to give you a good build. He's not really going to be able to make clear decisions. The man isn't sleeping. His children are waking up in the middle of the night. They're screaming at them. Truly, if you choose to follow this man's build, you are following an insane person. Maybe not as insane as Ruetoo, but an insane person nonetheless. And therefore we have to label it as bait, people. You gotta steer clear of people that don't understand how to prioritize Path of Exile in their life and they start choosing kids. What on earth were you thinking? Moving on, we have none other than Lolcohol. Lolcohol, like many PoE players, has a lack of ability to read because he's recommending Lightning Conduit, which clearly shows he forgot to read the patch notes. And the patch notes said, Lightning Conduit, now dead skill. I don't know how he could have missed that. Clearly, like many of us, we all lack the ability to read. Keep out for bait builds like this. Not all PoE players can read. Some people don't know when maps have reflect on it. Some people don't know when their skill's been nerfed. It's a problem of PoE players in general. A problem that Subtractem doesn't seem to have anymore. You know why? Because Subtractem's gone. Now we got ZEUS. ZEUS is running the show. You can see clearly by the thumbnail, this is a ZEUS build. Thank God. I like Subtractem. He was a nice guy, but he had to go. And luckily for us, ZEUS took over. He's running the show now. He's actually enhanced the Bane Occultist tenfold. You can rest assured this right here is not bait. Not bait. There's no chance. ZEUS would never mislead us. Truly, we have to respect that. And by respect, we have to judge Goratha very harshly. You cannot turn in the same homework 3 times, Goratha, and expect a passing grade. And this, unfortunately, is going to fall in the bait category. KOBEBLACKMAMBA. A true tryhard, a gamer, a grinder. He's bringing us Venom Geyer leveling guide with Venom Geyer, best 3.2 starter. Not gonna lie. That's what I'm talking about. Unfortunately, you know there's somebody else playing this build? Captain Lance. He's also playing Venom Geyer. And simply by the transitive property, once again, we can conclude, you know for a fact these are both bait builds, people. Next up, Pohx. You look at those thumbnails, that's a man of confidence. He doesn't take any time, he doesn't try to do anything flashy. He's here to give you Jug RF. Tanky, thick, juicy. Next up, you look, he's got a website for it. I've looked at the website. There is an endless supply, an infinite library of wisdom about this build specifically. None other builds have that. And once again, we have to refute the claims that this show is biased towards Righteous Fire. No, we are just respecting the facts that this clearly is one of the best, if not the best build in the game. That's a not bait. Clearly spoken, clearly communicated, something the people can trust. Thank you, Pohx, for once again bringing us gold. mbXtreme, the man himself, the legend of gambling, the legend of making builds that look good and have peak aesthetics. He's thinking EK, Ignite, League Starter. This is a build that clears the screen. It looks juicy, it looks fun, but do not fall for the seduction he's putting on you. There was a taped conversation that we've recorded via Discord where he says, and I quote, "Use at your own risk." And then he's laughing about it. This is something that we haven't really seen before. A sadistic level of seduction with, ha ha ha, we tricked you, bad build actually. Truly, a man that you have to watch out for. mbX, he may be looking like a Viking, he may look like he has honor, but clearly he is tricking you in the field of war, in the field of battle. Do not trust this build, it is bait. Now next up we have pathofmatth, a man back from the dead, here to bring us once again a build that's going to end up 6 feet under on a regular basis. Now like this build, pathofmatth was also one-tapped by GGG, but like this build, pathofmatth came with 6 portals. He's using one, he's coming back, and he's bringing us a banger, and that banger does damage, a lot of damage. But it also dies in one shot no matter what you get hit by, so kind of a build that requires skill. I think you want to be on the level of maybe Mathel or higher, so basically the only person that I think that could probably pull this off is Mathel, and maybe Ben on a good day. So use at your own risk, people. Use at your own risk. Otherwise, we're gonna have to label this as bait. We have ChronicPainless, a man of the people providing Blade Vortex guides on the regular, and he comes again with a banger that has a note section like an encyclopedia. I'm not even kidding. This thing just keeps going. It just doesn't seem to end. Unfortunately, by the time you've read this notes section, the league has come and gone and you haven't even played the game. And because of that, we have to label this build as bait because, truthfully, we would rather you at least be able to play the game. But if you're stuck reading a POB that is longer than a dictionary, you're probably never going to actually play the game. We have to label this as bait. Tonight, we've had a lot of bait builds, and I know you're tired of it and you want some guaranteed ringers. So we're going to look at some of the tried and true, guaranteed legends of the game. I'm Exile, Ben. Where have they been? Where are their good builds that we can copy and enjoy? Well, unfortunately, folks, they've been spotted, abducted by the game known as World of Warcraft. There's one clear reason for that. Last league, we didn't have a gauntlet. This is their money source. This is how they put food on the table. They have to play and win gauntlets in order to survive. And without gauntlets, they just get drugged back down to the depths of World of Warcraft. And unfortunately, I have to say, because they need the money until we get more funding on the table for gauntlet events, these individuals will not be back in the PoE community. So if you want to see these guys back here, please send funding to more gauntlet events to put food on the table for them. They are hurting. They are in need. We got to save these guys from playing World of Warcraft, a truly sad game to play. Moving on from sad games to play, we're looking at the GGG snitch. It's Jungroan himself. He's saying, hey, check out Cold Dot. It's good. Check out Seismic. It's good. Clearly, this is part of his normal tactic, which is to bait people into trick builds. And because of that, we decided we'll just skip the part where we call these builds bait, and we'll go straight to the source himself. So, reporters in the field went to him and they said, hey, what are you really playing? We really want to know, what are you actually playing? And we got some answers. Cold on Eye of Winter, some secret tech. We tried to inquire further about this build because we want to know, is this build actually good? And he replied with a simple, yeah, it's good. Dan approved it himself, but I'm not going to tell you what it is. And we next asked the important question, did you get this approval writing authenticated? Can you prove Dan actually reviewed this build and said it's good? And to that, he said, no. I'm the snitch. Why would I give you that sort of information? Clearly, this man is lying to us. Dan did not approve this build, so if you do decide to start as Jung's Cold Dot into Eye of Winter, Scion Raider Occultist, clearly you have been baited massively by this snitch. Havoc616, the man who seems to always be on a team of elites. Every league you see the name in lights and it says Havoc across the board. First guy to 100, Havoc and his team. This has been a known trend, and we're trying to crack the code. How can we be like Havoc? We sent in some newly hired audio engineers. They had to sedate themselves into a meditative state to analyze his VODs to figure out how is his team so good, how does Havoc always pull up the W's, and we came away with one clear conclusion. He has successfully cloned himself, and every single person on his team is a better version of him, enhanced through biological engineering. The man is what we would like to call in the business cheating. So, because of that, we have to label Havoc's suggestions as bait. Please do not start these builds, people. Speaking of builds made for the common man, Zizaran is coming at us hot and heavy with guide after guide after guide, custom engineered for the people. A true feat, a pillar of the community, I have to say, and honestly, let's support him in that. My man is about to hit 200k subscribers. Probably the first one in PoE history if you do not count Kripparrian, because he got seduced by the dark arts of Hearthstone, but that is a thing of the past. Now, if we were going to do a speed fire round of rating these builds not bait or bait, unfortunately, even though he's trying to provide us good builds, they're basically like all bait. They're all bait. They're all bait. Wait, not bait? Oh, that's right. It's Pox's Righteous Fire. We cannot label that as bait. That is a build of the gods. Now, moving on, we have Steel Mage, a man who seems to be doing a cooking stream. And what is he cooking up? Well, if you look closely, both him and Zizaran, based on their chef's hat, they're cooking up bait builds. Do not trust these folks. They are dangerous. They are trying to sell you a product that will put you under. Welcome, folks, to the Wall of Shame. We're just going to highlight a few videos of people putting in no effort to maximize views, where they copy and paste builds from other people and they say, hey, play this build I haven't played. I think it's good. I don't know. And honestly, the overarching theme of it all is it's just a lot of bait. If they don't have the soul to put their own work out there, their own builds, and recommend something, and they're just copying and pasting, these are build guides with no soul. These are build guides that have been ruined, that have been tampered with, that are now unsafe to work with. Do not fall for the allure of the top 5, top 10, top whatever best league starter videos. They are clickbait garbage. Do not trust this. This is a sincere message from the Bait or No Bait team. In closing, you're probably wondering, well, we don't really have enough builds to play Bait or No Bait show. What do we do if we don't want to play Pox's Righteous Fire? Maybe we want more variety. Where do we go? Who do we look to? Well, Lucas asked a similar question 5 years ago. You always make strong build, but you don't share. Face of disappointment. Of course, this was on the video of none other than Dirty Dan himself, the legend. Lucas may not have had the technology, but today we do have the technology, and the way you can access good builds of a large variety and swath of the best variety, it's simple, folks. You go to PoeDan79. You can import his builds with POB. The technology to snatch that information is there. Luckily for us, Dirty Dan hasn't realized his account is public. Eventually, if he does, he might choose to cut us off of his supply of god tier builds, but for the time being, us, the common people, can acquire the best builds in the game from the known source of true, reliable, strong builds. That's really all we have to say, folks. This is a legend, Dirty Dan, best in the business. And thank you for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the Bait or No Bait show. As always, take care, exiles. Peace out.